tell me a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you're from, what you do, things like that.
My name is Slade. I got a mustache now. I don't think I had a mustache last time I did this, but I'm from Maywood, born in Maywood, raised in Joliet. Make music, I throw shows now. I do a lot of shit. We can talk about that. I do a lot of shit. I like to create stuff, to say the least.
Can you tell me a little bit about like that passion for creating, even before we get into some other things?
It definitely started with my passion for like anime, manga, video games. Like when I was like 5-6 years old, like we had Toonami, we had Dragon Ball Z popping up, Naruto. There was a lot of other ones too, like a lot of like Shaman King was pretty cool back then. I was really big into that shit, and comics too, just everything. Like I look at shit and I'd say I want to be able to make my own. So it started with me just drawing anime, manga. Had a bunch of notebooks filled. I made my own comics. I made some about ninjas, pirates, and I didn't know it back then, but every time I see something that I enjoy, I envision myself making something that I enjoy just as much, you know? So that's where it started for sure.
That's an exciting start, and I mean, just hearing you talk about that, I'm finding some similarities like with myself too. I was doing the same thing, you know, making comic books out of paper, stapling them all together, coming up with my own short stories. I mean, I'm here now, like doing this whole interview thing, this whole writing thing, and I feel like a lot of people are able to relate to that too.
Comes back full circle.
That's what I'm saying, especially like nowadays, because everybody is big into their own creative ventures, but it's nice seeing that we all started relatively at like the same point.
Oh yeah. I feel like it always starts with the artsy drawing, sketching kids, you know?
Now, you said you're Slade at the beginning. The last time we did an interview, you were Superstar J. Can you talk to me about that name change and like what it means to you and even just why it happened?
Honestly, I think I chose the name Superstar J off of just like desperation for a new name. For those who don't know, I once went by Jiggly J. I had to get rid of that shit. Like that's really how I started. I started making parody music, and I was just trying to be funny, you know. Then after a while, I started that shit in middle school. After a while, I wanted to be taken serious, but I still had that name. So yeah, like obviously some people were rocking with it, some people were looking past it, but some people were just like wouldn't even click on it for the fact that I was Jiggly J. Like, who the fuck is this guy, you know? But I feel like I chose the name Superstar Jig out of desperation. If I ever tried to explain why I chose it, it probably wasn't true. But it doesn't resonate with me. I just, you know, Slade actually does resonate with me. Ghost Rider, that's my favorite superhero. And the Ghost Rider before the actual Ghost Rider we all know, Phantom Rider, his real name was Slade. He was like the Western cowboy Ghost Rider. He had a white suit.
With the horse, right?
Yeah, he had a horse. There's a lot of ways I resonate with that name. One, I started my project series. It had the name Rainbow Road, and obviously when you go on a road, you're exploring, you're traveling. I mean, who wouldn't want to do that on a horse? I actually had this bit where I had a character. He rides on a horse to get around, and he like goes through these different like portals and dimensions. And it's like the world is ending and all this, but it's a long fucking story. But yeah, that was his character, and that's really what I wanted Slade to be. But other than that, he explores, he gets out there, he's not afraid to try some new shit. He's definitely an outlaw, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's rebellious. There's just so many ways I can connect to the name. And my last name is Carter in real life. Not too much deeper than that. I really just like Ghost Rider, one, and two, I don't know, I feel like there's so many ways I can connect to the name, and I feel like as I keep moving forward, I'm gonna find new ways to connect to it. You know?
I like that. It sounds like it's matching where you're at in life right now too. You've been doing a lot of things, you know, getting back into the music, but also doing ambiance and throwing raves and having all different types of things that, you know, the average artist isn't doing until they're super duper deep into it. Even then, a lot of them will just stick only to the music. And so seeing you get into all different types of avenues and hearing what goes behind the name, it all matches up. Can you tell me a little bit about where you are as a creative? Like we were talking earlier, you were doing the music, and then you had like a little episode where you were doing all types of other things, and now you're back into the music.
I'm in the stage of realism, to put it simply. obviously we're all getting older. I mean, I don't know who I'm speaking to right now, but I'm assuming most of y'all are my age, either in that college age or graduating college age. And most of us have bills to pay by now. Life is starting to get real for all of us. And I had a period of time, even before I even needed to do all of that. Like, I've been on my own since I was 19. You know, that's when I decided, all right, I want to be like a full-on adult. So I've been on my own since then. I've always had this mindset like, all right, I'm gonna go get it myself. I'm gonna go get everything myself. It got really extreme last year. I remember, you know, I started just liking nicer things. The whole like Andrew Tate shit was going on, and every time I go on YouTube or social media, someone's telling me I'm not making enough money or I'm not shit because I don't do this and I don't do that. The whole time I was like 20, you know. So like, but yeah, it still like resonated with me. It gave me that hustle, and I always had that hustle, but it made me want to hustle even more, and it made me just want shit that like isn't realistic. But at the same time, what I mean by realism is that I need to translate that hard work that I was doing with my business and my clothes and everything I was doing around that time. I need to translate that hard work, put it into the music, and find a way to make the music make the money. I don't care how much money I make. I just want to make money doing what I love. So I'm in this stage of realism where, all right, I'm gonna make music. I'm gonna do what I gotta do, but at the same time, I gotta make sure it pays my bills. I gotta make sure, you know, I don't go into debt doing this shit. I gotta make sure that I can make it grow and I can hire people and hire the people I need to be around me to put me in the right position. I've been watching a lot of marketing videos, which I don't want to do myself. That's why I gotta at least get like a foundation so I can hire a marketer. You know, I'm just in this stage where shit is real, and I don't know how much I care about being famous. I just know I want to do this for the rest of my life, so I gotta figure out how to do that. You know?
Yeah, and I mean, as a creative, I think the goal is always to be able to live off of it.
Yeah.
But there does come a point where, like we were talking earlier, you know, you feel like you're doing a lot of like quote unquote kid shit, but you know it's something that you love. Yeah. And instead of just keep going with like the mentality of like being, you know, a youngin' and just, oh, I'm gonna make music just because I love it and not focus on getting paid off of it, not focus on, you know, building the brand. You don't want to do that after a certain point because, like you said, we got bills to pay, we got a life to live.
Yeah, it was definitely fun just being able to say, hey, I'm just gonna make some shit that I think is cool, put it out, and hopefully, you know, it goes somewhere. That's not really the game right now. I mean, when I first started making music, the landscape was completely different. I was like 15, 16 during that SoundCloud era. You know, like Uzi, Cardi, Juice WRLD. I was in high school. It was just like every time you wake up, you see a new rapper who just blew up out of nowhere. I mean, little do you know, there's a machine behind these rappers. And also, it was a different time, you know, like the algorithm was a lot different. Now they're trying to, you see ads on every app you go on, YouTube ads, Instagram ads, everything is paid content now. Even TikTok is being monetized. And I remember like TikTok was cool because it was a new app that you could go on and just get a bunch of organic growth.
Exactly.
But now it's just like, all right, it's either you become the machine yourself or you get a team of machines. You know, like the industry is always changing. And just like being aware that obviously it makes it a bit more stressful and a bit more boring, honestly, because like instead of making music all day, I got to figure out like, all right, what pieces of content I'm going to put out, what am I going to do to make money. That's really where the Amia stuff comes in. Whereas I really don't even want to be a businessman in that aspect as well. I just want to make the shit. But like I got to build the foundation. I got to make it what it is so someone can say, all right, I want to be a part of that, you know? Like at the end of the day, it's not even just for money. It's just, I want to be able to do this every day. I need money to do that. So, but I feel like the way I'm going to go about it is very true to me, one. Two, it stems from the music. This whole universe I created started in my music. You know, it's a bunch of fictional shit, you know? It's a lot to explain, but I do want to get into it.
I was gonna say, can we get a little bit into what Amias is? Can you tell me a little bit about like where it came from? And I mean, I know you said you're throwing shows, you know, you got to get the money, you got to bring people together. Can you just explain all that to me real quick?
So Amias is another word for Asmodeus, and I made a song called Asmodeus, and I still don't think people know who that character is, and I'm gonna keep it like that for a while. But let's talk about Amias though. So Amias, to me, and in this world, Amias is just my vision of the apocalypse and what I think the world ending looks like. what I think people are doing, how much fun I think people are having. It's a takeover. I have very normal experiences, and I have to find a way to make them more interesting. I don't want to make my music boring. So I give everybody in my life a character. All these characters are extraterrestrial as hell. Ambiance has a lot to do with mythology, especially like the idea of heaven and hell and angels and demons. So ambiance is just literally these beings coming from these different planets taking over the world and having a party on Earth before they destroy it. They're also figuring out who they want to come with them, who can blend in with them the most, who can party the hardest, who can go out with the biggest bang, and they're going to take them with them beyond this dimension here. You got the people who don't know themselves, and you got the people who do know themselves. People who do know themselves, they're going to win. They're probably going to make it further than a person who can't figure out exactly who they are. And it's not like bad to not know who you are, but if you're aware, then that can change a lot for you. And I feel like I didn't always know who I was. I still might not know who I am, but one thing is I'm aware that I want to be myself. I'm aware that I'm gonna be chasing that for a long time. Like I'm aware that I'm different in some type of way. I don't know exactly what it is yet, but I know it starts with this music shit. You know, if I give up on this music shit, then I don't know who I am. You know, that's where that identity crisis came, where I kept doing all this business. I don't want to be a businessman. You know. I wanted to do art for as long as I could remember. Before that, it was sports. Either way, I just wanted to do something to where I don't have that much guidance. That's why sports didn't work out. It felt cool at first because, like, you know, like not everybody plays sports. You know, not everybody's athletically gifted. Then you get into sports and you realize, wait, there's a lot more people like me, which is not the reason I got out of it. But you know, it's not as easy to. I didn't feel like myself. It wasn't that easy for me to stand out. Music, I feel like regardless of what room I'm in, I'm always gonna be able to. But yeah, music, I feel like whatever room I go into, just as a creative in general, like no one can tell me, oh, that's not you. You know, like I'm always gonna feel like myself. I'm always gonna feel cool. I'm always gonna feel fulfilled being able to create my own shit. Exactly. Even if someone made something just like it before me. Like my thoughts are mine, you know? It's
real nice being able to be an individual. Like going back to the sports, you said like it was harder to stand out. And I feel like sports, you know, it's all about the team. You know, it's all about the, like, what's the saying? There's no I in team or whatever. And I mean, yes, that's a good thing, but as a creative, as an artist, you want to be able to be you. You want to be able to express yourself. So
yeah, and playing sports really made me realize that, man. Because, like, for example, I really worked on my jump shot. I played center because I was the same height in middle school. And I played center up until my freshman year because everybody kind of caught up to. I'm 6'1". Everybody kind of caught up. I went from like center to small forward / power forward. I was working on my jump shot, working on my dribbling, and I got put in the game just to do the same shit. Post hook, you know. Post up, post hook, drop step. I was still doing the same shit I was doing in middle school. You know, I was like, coach, I worked on my jumper. I was working on my dribbling. I want to be able to like run the floor. Maybe I wasn't good enough, but I wanted a chance to show what I can do. I didn't get the chance. And that's when I knew, like, all right, I'm gonna have a hard time with this. I'm gonna have a very hard time with this. Cause I'm gonna be working on my own shit. I'm gonna want to go a different way than the way they're trying to tell me to go.
Exactly.
And music, I haven't had nobody trying to tell me to do shit. I'm not gonna say I'm like fucking like just an asshole, you know. I don't want to just do something just because someone tells me do something else, just because someone tells me to do something their way. I just really like I wake up and I just want to do what I want to do. I don't really like being told to do shit unless it's my job, unless I'm getting paid for it. But I still, like, after a while I get sick of that too. I tried to have a job for a month and it was something I actually was interested in, like personal training. I was a personal trainer at Lighttime Fitness and I thought I was super excited for it. Give it like, I think it was like 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, I was like, fuck this. It was a good job and all. Fuck this shit, man.
You just want to be able to do your own thing, and that's super understandable.
I need to stay stimulated. That's what it is. I need to say, like, I didn't know it till later in my life, but I guess I was considered an ADHD kid. And it makes sense. It makes sense now. I can't sit still for too long. I always gotta be, like, I go in the shower, I gotta be listening to some music or watching a video. Even before I go to bed, I gotta be doing something.
Exactly.
I can't just ever sit in silence. And if I am, it's on my terms. Like, I gotta be sitting in silence, thinking of something. You know, like...
Yeah, like the gears are always turning. And
yeah.
I think as an artist especially, like that's something that's crucial because I don't know about you, I have a million different creative ideas a day. Some of them are not shit. Other ones, they're like a gem. And you know, when you're able to sit and think on all that stuff, it's like you're able to more easily discern what's good and what's not, as opposed to somebody who's just like, you know, kind of just there.
Yeah.
And then the first ideas that they get, they're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna run with this.
I say you always need time to fuck off. You need time to just sit and, you know, just get in your own world. And I feel like the way society really wants you to go about life, you ain't gonna have time to do that. You know, imagine if I actually did have to work 12-hour shifts and I get home and I'm tired and I don't have time to fuck off. And let's say I had a kid, let's just say I had a bunch of shit going on that young people shouldn't have going on while they're trying to find themselves.
Exactly.
I wouldn't have time to be as creative. It'd just be like more of I'd be in that survival mode. I don't want to be in survival mode. I want to be in a position in life where, all right, I get my shit done. Maybe, you know, take up like, obviously it's gonna take up the bulk of my day getting my shit done. But like, I want at least a couple hours to just not even think. Like I just want a couple hours to not have to worry about anything. I feel like that's when my best ideas come out. Sometimes they come out at the wrong time though. I'll be driving and I'll pull out my phone and I'll just get some bars in my head. And every stoplight I'll get two bars, and I'll freestyle as I'm driving, write down the bars. That's another time I get my creative juices out. But like for the most part, I really just like to, you know, get home, shower, get everything done, and just maybe put on the game or something, turn on a movie, and maybe that movie will give me the inspiration. Pause the movie, back to the drawing board, you know? I don't even finish it. I literally just...
Yeah, once you get it going,
all over
like
the place,
that.
man.
Yeah. I mean, I was gonna ask what you're really working towards, but I feel like you already articulated that. You know, just being able to be you and be free. What's like the end goal?
The end goal? Club Ambiance, Ambiance Entertainment, Ambiance Curations, Ambiance Music, and Ambiance Productions. They're all where they need to be. I got my team. You know, all I gotta do is think. All I gotta do is think and put the idea out there and tell people where I want to go. That's all handled. You know, the music, I can wake up, got my home studio. You know, don't really gotta leave the house. If I do leave the house, maybe it's because I'm working with somebody else, but for the most part, I can just wake up and do what the fuck I gotta do in terms of music. I'm gonna learn some more instruments. I'm working on the keyboard right now. I've been producing a lot. Been getting into a lot of new music. I'm moving away from a lot of the stuff I used to do. And I'm just in a different spot in life, man. Like, there's a lot of stuff that happened to me over the past couple of years. Not like even necessarily bad. It's just like a lot of the life events just taught me that I don't want to be generalizing. I never wanted to be generalized in like one different category, one certain category, but I'm taking that to the extreme now. I don't know how I'm going to market this exactly, but like I've just come to accept the fact that like, all right, I don't know what type of music I want to make specifically. I don't know what I want to do specifically, but I think that's like the biggest part of my character. You know, like I know I want to make music and I know I want to be creative. That's it. I think I'm gonna just leave it there. You know, I don't want to be in a certain scene. I don't want to be in a certain genre. I got some shit coming out that I can't even tell you where the inspiration is from. I've just been making shit that I haven't been able to record like that because I'm doing all this other shit. But definitely getting back in that mode. You know, the end goal is to just be able to wake up to it and see it every day.